Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Suspense and excitement is over as I'm with you now with the first show of the facts. First of all, I would like to thank all those thousands of Facebook members who liked my idea and sent me encouraging comments. As this is the first show, let me explain to you first the format of my sequence of intended shows. Using my over 3 decades of work experience in information management, media, events management, and community services, whether it is Tribune International or my first book Australia for Pakistanis or a mega Australian multicultural events, I organize or my other work in the community. I will be sharing with you my experience based on facts of the past or present. I will analyze the issues and matters and present you my verdict on them. I will try to make my talk simple, useful, and informative. And I will expect a feedback from you so that it will help me to choose more interesting and informative topics. I will welcome your positive or negative comments on my talk open heartedly and reply to you wherever appropriate. So, today I will be talking to you on two topics in two parts. First is this one, which is in English. The other one will be in Urdu. Dear viewers, it was tough task for me to choose the first topic of my first show, as many topics and issues were coming in my mind, and then I realized that for most of the issues I have in my mind eventually relate to the family issues, especially when we live in a diverse society like Australia, where we have to interact with the people who have different background, religiously, culturally, socially, or linguistically. I mean, in a multicultural society like Australia. Therefore, I am going to talk to you today on the importance of family values in Australian multicultural environment. And for those who live in other part of the world, for example, in the same environment like Canada, United States, Europe, or some other parts of Asia, can also share my thoughts and conclusions. Viewers, as a human being, the most important thing for us is to live with another human being happily, peacefully, and respectfully. And for this purpose, the most important factor is our relation with the other human being. And who can be more close to us than our father, mother, wife, sister, brother, son, daughter, and similarly with other relatives. When we leave our homeland and migrate to other places for better prospectus, the most worrying element for us over the period of time is to make sure we follow our religion, culture, tradition, and up to some extent our language and relationship with others who are important for us. Then what happens down the road of the journey of our life? We could not fully maintain our family traditions and family values. We progressively lost our native language, and unfortunately some people even lost their faith. In 2002, when I was meeting with people and gathering data on early migrants in Australia who came from those parts of the Indian subcontinent, those became Pakistan on 14th of August 1947. I met some people whose grandparents were Muslims, and those non-Muslims were blaming their grandparents and parents responsible for their lost faith. Dear viewers, this does not happen overnight or in days or weeks or months or even in some years. It happens over the period of time when we either neglect or ignore or change ourselves, our values and social practices. For example, I have seen some parents complaining about their children that they don't speak with them in their native language, or for which they blame this to the Australian English speaking environment. But the fact of the matter is that at the same time, I found them speaking English with their children. I came to Australia with my wife and two kids of 6 and 3 years old from Pakistan 25 years ago. When I took them to the school on the first day for admission on the school, and then the school's principal, after knowing me, my background, told me that If you want to keep your family values intact, never ever speak in English with your children. Instead, just speak with them in your own native language. Luckily, I followed that principle, and those who are close to my family, they know that my own son, who was born in Australia in '93, speaks fluently Urdu with me and others. In my conclusion, everything in human relationship starts with our in communication. We start with communication with each other, and most important role plays in our communication is our language. Today, I will talk about two relationships in family which play a key role in keeping the family intact, the parents and the children. And based on my 25 years of experience, vast experience, observation and study of families, of various type of families, cases in multicultural society, I would like to address few things to the parents. Number one, communication. Parents, always speak in your own native language with your children. And for this, mother and father always plays a vital role when communicate with the children. If your children respond to you in English, push them to speak to your own native language. Number two, family tradition. Teach and explain your children about your family tradition. Spend time with them. Give them examples about your parents, your grandparents, about their good things which benefited you in your life. Number three, cultural activities. I see common practice in our community that is to invite each other on lunches and dinners, eating, gossiping on political and social issues, and leave children for their own activities. Whatever they like, if they continue to do, you are responsible creating distance between you and your next generation. Therefore, rather than just focusing on lunches and dinners, organize something that create interest for your children in your family gatherings. For example, children dress competition, speeches in native language, knowledge competition on your culture, religion and native country, and so on. Number four, community gatherings. Our community organizations, especially, I will give you some example of Pakistani community because I belong to Pakistani community. Organizations which I have seen in Australia over the last 25 years now. These organizations are the sample of Pakistani's political culture in Pakistan. These organizations are created and run by those who find these organizations as a shortcut way to get personal projection and business networking. Anyway, I will talk on community organization inshallah in a separate show soon. At this time, I would like to say that community organization should be a platform for the senior members of the community to promote family values, relationships, native language, culture, valuable tradition, and transfer them or hand over them to the young generation. Number five, religious practice. Parents, feel proud of your religion and provide proper education of religion, not a traditional one. And explain your children the difference between your faith and the faiths of the others. At the same time, explain your children why your faith is important to you. At the same time, teach them to respect others and others' faith because we live in a multicultural society, viewers. Number six, proud on your background, native country, your language, culture, religion. Parents, never ever talk about negative aspects, issues and problems of your native country in front of your children. I have seen people invite each other on dinners and lunches and spend hours in front of their children talking all sort of negative things about their country where they were born and grown up. Then what do you expect from them when you talk to them? So this is very important that don't talk negative things with them. You must teach your children about the history of your native country, their issues with the reasons in a positive way. Maintain dignity of your native country. Number seven, feel good living in Australia. Parents, explain your children why did you migrate to Australia or in which country you are in now. Don't shy explaining them, your children, that the facts and circumstances which made you to come to Australia. I have observed that those who initially or now do blue collar jobs hesitate to tell their children about their work, or don't tell them what actually they do. This is absolutely a wrong practice. Explain your children why do you do that job and what are your plans for your children for their future. Now I would like to advise few things to the young people and children. Dear youth and children, remember the life is a cycle. There was a time when your parents were children like you, and there will be a time when you will be the parents like your parents. And today, and I believe you wouldn't like that your children feel negative about you being parent or feel uncomfortable to live with you in the future. Respect your parents with the acknowledgement, and give them feel if you are totally in a that you are in a developed country and living in a luxurious life here. So this is very important, children and youth. Respect your parents, doesn't matter what they do professionally. Don't feel shy or bad if they do any type of blue collar job. I have experienced even in Australia some young fellows hesitate to tell the occupation of their parents, which is very regretting. Feel proud on your parents, what they are proud of, whatever that they do. Learn the language of your parents with all your efforts. This will benefit you to hand over your identity to your children. Take out time and spend time with your parents and have at least a dinner with them regularly. If you are a working professional, take your parents on surprise recreation on your expenses. Don't panic if your parents are asking something from you. Give them feeling that you proud to tell them something about what they're asking for. Organize and attend cultural programs. Invite seniors, parents as a VIP. My dear parents and children, if we maintain harmony, friendship and respect in our relationship, then only you can contribute in creating harmony and friendship in your community. And if you maintain harmony and friendship in your community, then other members of the other communities and the society will respect you and give you a value. But if you don't do this, and want to know what happened, the people came us before and they didn't follow these rules. You read my book. The people came in 1860 who came here and developed and worked for the development of Australian infrastructure. And today they are even not in the history anymore now. So this is very important, dear parents and children and youth. Then create a good relationship, and if you do this, this can only create a good family values, and which will lead to you to hand over your tradition and culture language to your next generation. Thank you until for the next topic.